Hello and welcome to our bullet journal theme for July. You might have got a little bit of an inkling of what we're looking at for this month with these beautiful greenery things in the side here. We've gone for a bit of a houseplant theme. Now, I have done one before. It's kind of like it was a potted plant theme. I've just kind of blown this one up so it's a bit more jungle houseplant theme. We've got some lovely cheese plants and other bits and pieces. And down here in the corner, a polka dot plant, just to kind of give you a little bit of a nod to our clarity box this month, which is all about growth, and you get seeds for this beautiful plant and also seeds for an asparagus fern. This up here was supposed to be a bit asparagus-y fern, but it's actually quite difficult to get it looking quite delicate like that. But we've done our best, but you get the idea. Let's have a look at the template. So for our cover page, we've got our lovely house plants there, and then we've got a bit of a jungle inspired house plant theme for our week to view, and then a little potted plant version for each day, so you can have a little bit of greenery in your life every day of the week. And then our habit tracker, again, is that kind of blown up, more jungle vibe. And for your mood tracker, it's a huge cheese plant leaf. I've actually not split this one up into sections, but you can see you can kind of split it yourself into as many pieces as you need, ideally 31, so that we can get through all of July tracking our moods for the month. So let's have a look. So let's get my sketch book out so we can have a look at our ideas for July. I'll put all of the Tombow references down below in the comment section, but just to give you an idea, we are mainly using 228, which comes with our clarity box for July. And that's the one that I've kind of used for the majority of the leaves. If we start with my kind of basic, it's almost like the fig leaf plant or the fig plant, we're just going to look at some really simple shapes. So if we were just to do some random leafy, it doesn't even matter really, you can do any shapes, go a bit abstract with it, it's all okay. And we can let that dry for a bit, and whilst it's drying I'm going to put just an idea of where potentially the stems or the branches maybe. That's all I'm doing, simple as that. And then I'm going to use the same colour green to go in and just add a bit of detail. Like I said, these leaves could be any shape you want. You can make a mistake, it doesn't matter, because it just makes it look that little bit more sketchy. You know, I like a bit of a mistake. And we're just using the same colour over the top to add shading in. And that is really as simple as it is. If you want, you can kind of go extra level. You can put in a little shady section in. And it doesn't have to be the stems and the veins. And then you can go back again and add in when this has dried a little bit. I always give, even though it's Tombow pens, I would give it a little bit, a couple of minutes just to dry, otherwise it does bleed a little bit. So that's our fiddle fig plant shape, really straightforward. The monstera, or the cheese plant, I'm going to use a slightly different colour, just a bit more green. And if you were to start with a kind of, let's say, like, it's almost like a love heart shape, but it's not quite, like a sweetheart kind of shape, like that. And imagine that you're going to have leaves in there. So say that's your stem. Sometimes cheese plants just have holes in, so you can almost give it like two eyes. Let me zoom in a little bit at the top there so you can see. Looks a little bit like a Spider-Man mask at the minute, I feel. And then as you kind of go up, those oval shapes are just going to repeat all the way up to the stem. Now, what we can do here is we can break this up. So say I'm going to go in with my green pen just to show you. This might be an open cut out bit. Can you see where you've put those eye shapes? You're kind of working around them. Some of them might be cut out, some of them might not. And that is all we're going to do. That is our leaf. And again, we can colour it in. I'm obviously doing these giant. You could do these giant. I actually quite like them this size, taking over the page. I feel like I want to redo my cover page so I can make my Monstera leaves a bit bigger. And then what you can do, obviously rub out your pencil lines, and when this is dried, if you wanted to, you could put some more kind of details into your leaf. Let's go back to our fiddle leaf. Now that's a little bit drier, and I'm just gonna put the detail in there. That's all I'm doing. There we go. So it's got a bit of shading, and it's also got your leafy veins in. Is this dry enough? I think it'll do for now. So you just want to give it a little bit of a detail. Don't have to do much. That's it. And then it would have, you know, its stalk going up out of the page, however you want it to be coming off the page. Okay, next we're going to look at our ferny leaf. So for this, we're just going to have some fanned out, using the brush tip, fanned out lines, and then going in with the fibre tip. I'm going to zoom in for you. I'm just going to come off each of these and do like tiny little kind of, I don't know if you remember, if you were with us for the Christmas tutorials, how we did the pine needles. It's that type of vibe. So all you're going to do is go straight lines on one side and then match it on the other. And you can do whatever you want here. Keep building until you kind of fill this whole section up with these fine little wispy details. So you can see how that's going to fill up if you were to keep going. I'm not going to keep going because we'll do that on the main page when we're working on it. And then the next leaf is the polka dot plant leaf, and like I kind of said, that comes in our clarity box, so that's why I wanted to add it in. So for this one, we're doing again like a pointed leaf shape. It doesn't need to be exact, and I actually coloured the whole leaf in. If you wanted to, you could leave circles white, because I did use the Sakura gel pen to make the white circles, and it wasn't as obvious as I'd like, but I just feel like it's a little bit messy when you do that. It doesn't look good to me, but it looks better on camera, I think, than it does here, because it's not an even coverage for me. But you can certainly do it that way. And then you could add in the same idea with just, if you wanted to add in some veins, some leafy details. And if you wanted to do it the opposite way, I've got a Sakura gel pen. It is running low, so it's not great. Or you could use a white acrylic. If you've got like a white acrylic paint, you could just use that, just like a little dot of it. You wouldn't need much. And that's all we're doing for that. I mean, this one is in a plant pot, and for the plant pot I've used grey. I'll have to find the reference because I use it so much that I've rubbed off the reference, but it's such a nice grey just for using for highlighting, you know, like to making things almost look white, because it's just that little bit of shadow, and that's all we've done, is give it a little bit of a shadow for the plant pot. And then building your leaf shapes up out of the plant pot. You could add stalks in if you wanted, but very straightforward, simple leaf shapes. If you wanted to use a little slightly darker colour just for the background, you can, or you could go over that leaf, you know, again to make it look a bit more shadowed. in the background, give it a bit of depth. And that, I think, covers all of the leaf shapes that we're going to be working on today. So let's get our cover page out. Okay, lovely, nice blank page for us. Hopefully it's not too noisy, because I've had to have the back door open because it is sweating in the UK today, in the middle of a possible 3-day heat wave. It doesn't happen often, and I mean, we like it when it happens, but we are not built for this kind of weather, so it is really, really hot. So I'm going to pull in my cover page, and I'm just going to lay it out and mark out where I'd like my leaves to go. So you might notice, for a change this month, I've popped July down in this corner and your month calendar up there. I would normally always have it like this, so I kind of liked the layout, so I was working with it. And as you can see, a really, if you can even see, a really faint outline. It's literally just a circle as to where each leaf is going to go. And let's go in with, I'm going to start with, I'm just going to put my page over here just so I can see what we're up to. Starting with that 228, because it's a lovely, I think it's actually called Grey Green from Tombow. Just a really nice shade of green. It's not too bright, it's not too dark. I find it perfect. But also the other one that I've got here that's nice is 158. That's got a little bit more green to it, less grey, so it's quite a good combo for these house plants that we're doing. And I do love house plants. I don't know how many I've got, quite a lot. I haven't counted them yet. I think the last count I had when we moved, which was 5 years ago, was 65, and they've definitely multiplied since then. But green is my favourite colour, so it just fills the house with so much green and so much joy for me, giving me all the joy. And I love that our clarity box for July is a growth theme, so you get your own little seeds and your own little plant pot, and you can create your own indoor garden. Hopefully, I've planted them, but I've never grown a house plant from seed, so let's see. I've always done it from cuttings, so I'm not sure how it's going to turn out, but I love the fact that those people who've bought the clarity box are all kind of on the same journey with me, so we're all going to be growing our seeds at similar times. Okay, let's give these a bit of a stalk. I'm happy with that so far. The good thing about working with the Tombow pens is we can just put the base layer on and then move to another part and come back and do the top ups. So again, with this lovely little kind of plant pot vase up here, I want to use that really light grey, which I'm going to find the reference for you, because like I say, I've rubbed it off because I use this for shading quite a lot. So I'm just putting the kind of nod to a vase, if you can see that. Also, it's on a bit of a shelf, so we don't want it to be floating in midair. So I'm just giving it a bit of a wooden shelf to go on. Let's do that. And I might go over that in a bit. And maybe it's got just a little bit of a kind of Mediterranean feel to it with a bit of a stripe across. And that's all I need to do for that. I can go back in and add some detail when it's dry, but for now I'm going to take a slightly brighter green, so I'm using that 158, and I'm just going to do with the brush pen those longer main stems, main vines coming out, a bit spidery. Does look a bit like a spider plant actually, doesn't it? Not so much like the asparagus fern, because the asparagus fern is growing up, if you can see, and it is very detailed, so it's not quite giving the same effect. But you know, we're using our artist's integrity here. So I'm going to fill in these little details, which might take me a while. So let me speed up the camera so we are not wasting your time, because I'd love for you to just kind of put some tunes on and just crack on, get some music in the background and join me doing some mindful leaf building, and I'll see you on the other side. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. So let's zoom out and see where we're at. We've got the cheese plant leaves to do over here, which I've just done that pencil outline, and like I said, I'm gonna go with a lighter green. I think this one's gonna be lighter. Maybe not. Oh, I can't find a light. Struggling to find a nice light green, so I'm just going to go in with kind of grey green that I've got. So here's my shape here, and then I'm just going to put the eyes, as I'm going to call them, in there. Is that gonna, can you see that? Let's zoom in. Got my eyes in there, and then I'm just going to use my pen to kind of give it that shape up to, sometimes they have kind of like a pointed top, and actually sometimes those kind of circles actually, I want to call it called, are they called fenestrations? Something like that. I'm going to find out. I'm not going to embarrass myself and say the wrong word. They've got a name, those holes. Yeah, sometimes they don't fully open, they're closed off, so I've kept a couple of those ones there closed, and that creates our lovely leaf there. I'm going to go in with my darker green. Let's go for that grey green over here, just to, I really like drawing in the eyes first. It's like, it makes me feel a little bit safer on where I'm going. So I'm just gonna pop those eyes in there like that. And then I think those ones are gonna be closed, but maybe this one is open. Let's do wiggledy-piggledy lines. It doesn't really matter. You know, I love it when it's not even and it's a little bit sketchy. Always love that. Okay, filling in. I actually prefer the leaves I've done here than the ones that I've done in my own. Don't like that sometimes when that happens. When I'm recreating it for you, and I like the one I've done in my sketch journal better than the one I've done in my own personal journal, but not everything can be fair. I'm letting go of the need for everything to be perfect. It's a real big thing for me because I am a bit of a perfectionist. It can be both a strength and a weakness at the same time, because sometimes I just am never happy with what I've produced. But I think that's part of being a designer, a creative. We always think that we could do better. And also ideas are constantly evolving. And the minute you've put something to paper, I sometimes feel like, oh, I've just had another idea and I want to try it out. So sometimes it can feel sometimes like you're just never happy. So we have to be happy though. We have to try. Life's too short to worry that I've, haven't finished a leaf shape the way that I wanted it to be. So you have to learn in life when it's okay for things not to be perfect. And right now in my journal, it doesn't have to be perfect. It really doesn't. Okay, I didn't like doing that one blind without my little eyes in, so I'm doing this leaf, and I feel like this one's kind of coming off the side of the page. So is it coming? Which way is it coming? I think it's kind of going to be going outwards. So I want the eyes to be going this way. You'll forever now be calling it that now, won't you? Whenever you're doing your own cheese plant designs, you'll be like, oh, I'm going to do the eyes like this. If you see it, you'll be like, see a plant. Maybe if you see a cheese plant, it'll remind you of me in the eyes. Okay, there we go. That's my cheese plant finished. And then the last thing to do is down here in the corner is the spotty polka dot plant. But I'm going to just do the outline of the plant pot first. So just giving it a little bit of a grey shade. And that's literally all I'm doing in the pen. Really simple. Let's go in with a lighter colour, she says, but she forgets that she doesn't really have a good light green. I think this one's going to be too light, maybe, but maybe if we layer it up with another colour, it might just work for us. I'm only doing a couple of those lighter leaves, and then I'm going in with 158, which is just a little bit of a punchier green. You'll see it when it's next to this one. It's still got a grey element, but it's just a little bit more green. Bit more kind of yellow tone to it, isn't there? But I mean, there's no harm in me getting some more greens, more green tombos, because I will always use them. Will always, at least once a year, have a green theme. Definitely more than once, to be honest. I'm already thinking Christmas will be an element of green in. Go for the typical green and red Christmas, traditional. I think one year though we did do like a pink vibe, which was a bit of a Nordic scene. So that one was nice to do something different for Christmas. I can't believe we're thinking about Christmas. It's July, but a lot of people are already thinking about their Christmas marketing strategies. So, you know, that's the basics done. So we've built our kind of picture there, and I'm just going to go in and go over and add in the detail now, because we've left it quite a while, so it's definitely going to be dry. So I can now put in just some of our little leaf details, or you could totally leave it, doesn't have to. But I do like giving it just a bit of something. I reckon this is probably the best weather we're going to have in the UK. I reckon. I always feel like summer comes before the kids break for summer holidays. Like we seem to be having the best weather the last couple of years whilst the kids are still at school. Which is such a shame, because they were recently off for half term and the weather was awful. It's just not fair. It's not fair. Okay, so let me zoom in on that. There we've got some details. Oh, I can hear the ice cream van. It is that time of day. Ice cream would be lovely. I do love chocolate ice cream. Definitely my favourite. I don't know, let me know in the comments, what's your favourite ice cream? Maybe we should do an ice cream theme for next month. What do you think? It will be peak summer holidays, won't it? August. And I am planning, hopefully, to go away in August on holiday. So maybe doing an ice cream theme would be good. It has been a while since we've done something other than green, the last couple of months. Definitely this month and last month were very green focused. So we could do with some variation. As much as we love green, we could use some different colours in our life. Okay, so I want to just add a little bit more of a darker tone to these leaves here because they are coming up very bright. So I'm just putting that light grey over the top. And this is where Tombow pens are so good because they do blend nicely. Just going to bring that green down a little bit. And then the last thing I want to do on those is I do need to add the kind of white dots, but as I say, my gel pen is running low, so excuse if they're not coming out as bright as we'd hope. Maybe let me just get some acrylic. Even zoom in. So I've just got some white acrylic and I'm just going to use it to dot. Just going to make that a little bit more punchy. But obviously we will have to wait a little bit longer before when we close our journal. Remind me at the end when I do the closing of the page that I need to wait for the paint to dry. So we're just dotting around on our spotty plant. So we've got those dots. Actually, the one that I've got is almost like a mottled look, so we can go a little bit mottled with it as well. So I'm really happy with that. So the one thing that I've missed off is the detail on the cheese plant. So actually I was going to go for brown, but thinking about it, my cheese plant has a green stem, so the leaves on there, the stems on the leaves are definitely green, not brown. So let's just pop a couple in there, and also I'm just going to give those a little bit of detail just to add a little bit of definition in, just like that. Bit of shading maybe at the bottom, why not? And then I'm going to get that. I've put Pacey. I just forgot already that I'd put paint on, and I just put my arm in it. And then let's give this one some details, and then finally our little chap over there who's falling off the page. Okay, so that is there. Last thing to do is to do our titling, and as I said, for a change this month I've done it down here in this kind of section to the side, and I kind of like the idea of it being off center. I'm just going to cover where I've painted with some paper. It's actually not stayed very white because I was impatient and the Tombow is still a bit wet, so it's actually gone light green, but that's fine because you can still see it's a little bit of a pop there. And then I'm going to use my stamp for my monthly calendar. Again, you can put your own in there. You could cut it out and stick it on if you wanted it to be a little bit more obvious. You could do anything you like, but I'm just going to use my stamp and I'm going to pop it in that small little gap there. And that is my houseplant jungle theme for July. Let's zoom out a little bit. I hope you've loved creating this as much as I have, and I hope that you enjoy your greenery around you and it's inspired you to get growing maybe. I'll pop all of the pen details that I've used, including the side kind of accent colours as well, and if you've got any questions just let me know. Have a great rest of your July and I'll see you soon.